So are you okay with the shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in there? Okay.
It's cute.
Cute, okay. Welcome back to When Food and Life Meet, and you're probably wondering who's this beautiful goddess that's next to me.
Thank you.
Can I put on a crown too?
Please put on your crown.
Okay. Oh, there just happens to be a crown right here.
I'm waiting for you.
Waiting for me. Tell me if I'm putting it on right.
Yeah. How does it feel
It feels
to wear a crown?
I mean, I feel like empowered. I feel beautiful, and it makes me feel like I can like stand tall and be like, I'm La Yaqui.
It looks great. We're branding.
We're branding.
This is for branding the Goddess Mercado.
What is this Goddess Mercado?
The Goddess Mercado is an all-Latina it's a non-profit organization. And the Goddess Mercado was started by all women founders. And it was a group of 13 women. We started popping up at a local parking lot.
And you're Deanna, by the way. I didn't
Yes.
even say your name. Deanna.
Okay. Diana Diaz.
Diana Diaz?
At your service.
Oh.
Founder of the Goddess Mercado.
Oh, so you're one of these women. You are the founder.
Yes, I'm the founder of the Goddess. And the Goddess started the Queer Mercado. So I'm also creator and founder of the Queer Mercado. And a few months after the Queer Mercado, we opened up, with the same founding women of the Queer Mercado, we opened up the Goddess Mercado Boutique. So now we have a brick and mortar where 12 women have all their brands, and we have monthly meetings. We're working on sharing our directories, our network, on collaborating and growing our Latina brands. And while at the same time, all of us participate in the markets at the Goddess Mercado at the East LA Civic Center. And several of them are fans, so they participate in the Queer Mercado. We're having a great time, working hard, expanding our network, growing our brands.
Okay. That's pretty amazing. Like, you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Lot.
I'm busy.
You're busy. And what I like to do here at Donas and Tortas is there's a couple things I like to do. First, I like to acknowledge and celebrate.
Okay.
So we're going to take a moment to celebrate what you've built. What you're building, girl.
I like to celebrate, girl.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You realize what you're doing, what you're building, like this space. Like, you do recognize it.
It's powerful.
Yes, it is.
Every month that goes by, every meeting that I have, all the women in the queer community that I speak to, I get feedback. I hear stories that are impactful, that are empowering, that are inspirational. And we have a space where we can share those stories, where we could uplift each other, where we can meet and hang out.
Yeah.
You know, bring your granny.
Family, right? You mentioned family.
It's so
Okay,
beautiful.
so being a Latina, being queer, like, I thought for the longest time growing up that, like, that how can I merge these worlds of mine, right? Like, how? Because you don't see it. I mean, I didn't grow up seeing it. Porque no se habla de eso, blah, blah, blah. And here you are, like, bringing these worlds together. Like, do you recognize how beautiful that is?
Yes, as a mother, I'm all yes.
Yeah.
Because I do, you know, and I'm so proud of it. And that's why I have no shame in sharing how important it is for me as a mother, as a school counselor from the community, because I've worked at all the District East schools as a school counselor, and as a community organizer, and as a daughter of immigrants, and a current resident here in East LA. Like, it's so powerful, it's so important. I feel so safe. You know, I feel like when it's my church, the Goddess and the Queer, they're my church.
I
like,
love that.
I go to church. I'm doing good. I'm a volunteer. And it feels good that I'm somewhere where I'm helping myself, building my brand. And at the same time, I'm taking so many along with me. From the youth that help us to, you know, the co-founders who are building their own brands and, you know, and expanding their skill set, to the women that are growing their brands, that are sticking with us. Like, it's so beautiful, so powerful. I'm so proud of it, and I hope that other people will be inspired to do the same. You know, create other spaces like this where they encourage growth and healing.
Can we talk about that healing? What do you mean about this healing? Talk about this
Well,
healing.
you know what? I'm learning as I talk to all the vendors. It was sin querer queriendo, is that I'm working with former addicts, with people that are struggling with alcoholism, with people that survived violence, that have been caught in the machismo. I'm working with single family households, with elders and people that are bipolar, that have some mental illnesses, like all of us do, right? And sometimes it's difficult when you're going through all that. It's difficult to go and work for someone. So it's so awesome that these artists have an outlet where they could express themselves by creating something. Y no estás baboseando, pendejándote, You're learning something and you're creating and building. And that feels so good.
Oh, my goodness.
That feels so good. And I see these paintings of like, oh, my heart was broken. Or a poetry, oh, my God, when I was suicidal. And like, shit, you're able to put that into words. And, that's healing. That whole journey is healing and definitely empowering, especially when somebody buys it, like.
And I have always been a lover of art, and I think that's true what you're talking about, like when we have moments in our lives that are challenging, and then you get to use art to just express yourself and like heal. You said, see, it's like, te mueve,
I had a friend. When I divorced, it was a really painful time in my life. Do you need to get that?
Oh, it's okay. No, I just dropped it.
When I divorced, I was so sad, and when my ex left the house and I was home alone a couple of days, I was like, this is mine? I was like, hell yeah! So I hung up all my artwork. I brought plants.
That's when that happened?
Yeah.
It wasn't before. It was after that.
It was after.
Oh.
Before that, he would, he would push back a little bit. I only had a couple of paintings, and then the rest I had them hidden, because I was sharing space with someone. I needed to be respectful and compromise. But when he left, I was like, I put everything out, even the corners of my wall.
That is very like, you took your life and you're like, you grabbed it and you're like, I'm gonna do this for me. Like, that's like,
yes, girl.
freeing, no? Like,
I texted, I put a call out.
I love it.
I put a call out because I was meeting a lot of artists, in the pop-ups. And I saw this artist whose work I liked. He was doing black and white, cartoonish constellation stuff. And I told him, if I do a call out with all my friends, chichis and nalgas, will you paint them in my bathroom? And I'll show you.
No.
So he's like,
see
yeah.
that?
And I did a call out, and all my friends sent me their chichis and nalgas. I say, you want to be on my wall? So my bathroom wall.
Okay, can we see it? Or we get it later?
I'll show it to you
after.
Okay. So my wall's full of chichis and nalgas, all my friends.
Okay, I need to understand, Diana, I need to go back in time here, because I always like to understand a person, because the person I see today, I'm sure you've gone through things that have led you to this point.
Yeah.
But when you think about your youth days, your teenager days, is there something about that time in your life that you're that there was a little peek into the person that you are today? I don't know, I'm just curious. I
think, and this is so appropriate because it was Father's Day yesterday, right? Yeah. But I think I'm a lot like my father. He was he was orphaned and came out here as a young man, and he suffered a lot, and he had all these demons, and he couldn't work for anybody because he was grumpy. I diagnosed him as bipolar. I told him, Dad, you're crazy. But he was my father, right? So he ended up digging out the bottom of our home and created a factory, and he started creating, and he would listen to his music and work because he couldn't work for anybody. He was fighting everybody. And then he would take all of the kids and my mom to do some street vending, and I learned street vending, and we were poor, but he made it fun. He was a storyteller. He was dramatic, and he was and he was cute, and he was vain. So now for a while he used to get to me because he was so macho, but I'm like, shit, I'm like my dad. I'm cute, I'm so vain, and I'm funny. And I learned all the sales tips from him. And I learned that regardless of how bad it is, we're blessed because he was very spiritual. He was always fighting with his demons. Even at the end, before he died a couple of years ago. And I don't mean to laugh. I'm sad that he's gone, but I told my brother, homeboy had to go. He had to go. He was grumpy. He was becoming an inconvenience. He was like offending us. I was like, hell no, you're out of here. And, that was, I'm sorry, Dad. But that was an important lesson for me.
He's probably laughing.
I know he's laughing.
I feel like he would appreciate the humor.
And at the end, I told him, Dad, usted se va a morir. And he's like, cállate, cabrón. So that's it. This is probably the last summer we spent together. I knew it.
Wow.
So I went over there, I read him the Bible, and I played music for him. I gave him some edibles he didn't know, and he fucking shared all his secrets, And I had a great time with my father, and that's where it started. He took us to street vending. He was resilient. He was creative. He made something out of nothing, And while I was growing up, he instilled that in me, and he saw a lot of that in me. And I started making clothing for friends, for myself, Barbie clothes, blankets. Selling my own. And then when he retired, he worked part-time for a interior designer. And, I forgot his name. Christopher something used to be on TV. And at the end of the shift, my dad told me, at the end of every shift, they throw away these, like, big tight bunches of fabulous fabric. And he said, you want to go get it and do something? I was like, okay. Hell yeah. And I was already making purses. He taught me how to make purses. We went dumpster diving several occasions, and I got these fabulous fabrics and started designing a variety of purses. And he taught me, he was a trained tailor. So he taught me about the forms and the stitching. And, I started popping up with my purses, with my line, with throws, with wine bottle bags, and I got an opportunity to sell a wet seal at Art and B.
Oh, yeah, I remember Wet Seal.
I sold at Art and B.
Oh, my God.
In their stores. I met...
So this has been a journey.
A journey, yeah. And I never thought it was going to lead to anything, but it was something that I loved. So I'm like, let me keep doing it.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Because I think that's a very important lesson I think people can learn, what you just said. You're like, I don't know where it's going to go, but I love it. You feel like having kind of letting it sort of organically become whatever it was helped you continue. Because I think a lot of people, we put pressure on ourselves to be like, it has to be esto y esto. And then we don't reach those moments and then como que te paras. But do you feel like because I feel like maybe that helped you. Like, well, what do you think?
I did it because I needed money.
Okay, well that works.
And,
yeah, that's
pretty... I needed money. And I didn't want to, resort other ways of making money. My mom asked me, ¿por qué vendes bolsas?
¿Ah, sí?
And I tell her, ¿qué quiere que venda nalgas? She's like, okay. But I needed money and I knew how to make money. And I knew that I needed a side hustle. So I would always sell something, and I'm a good salesperson.
You are.
So I could...
So let's talk about how you came up with this idea of goddess and the god. Yeah, what does goddess mean to you?
Goddess is a self-serving woman that can take care of herself so that proudly and magnificently, so that she can take care of others. And when you see this goddess feeling good and vibrant and beautiful, and not just, on the exterior, like mostly on the interior, that's what I mean. And that's where you see the confidence. When someone is really good on the inside, you see it, And that's what a goddess is able to then help or mentor, or be a great role model, a great example. And that's what a goddess is. A hunter, a giver, a lover.
And that insight, I love that you talked about how it's that inside stuff that then the result of that is what you see outwardly. So that inside stuff, how does one how have you like navigated that, like how to?
It's been really hard. It's still really hard. I'm still working on it, but
I feel like it's never ending.
Yeah, it's forever. You know,
It's
we
forever.
have to if we really love ourselves, we have to constantly start working on ourselves and eliminate the shame that surrounds the things that we didn't feel good about, because it actually helps others. Like, I felt bad about me over drinking. You know, and I didn't talk about it, but now that I talk about it,
You feel like
I feel so free. It's so freeing, and it holds me accountable. I still enjoy drinking, but now not to numb, not to.
I feel the same about food.
Yeah, the same about food, because I
Yeah.
was overindulging with sugar and fried food, and now that I'm 50, and paying attention to my.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I'll accept
Hell
that.
yeah.
I'm working hard. I want to make sure, because I love what I'm doing, I want to make sure that I feel good. That my insides are good, because when you feel good and you put more effort into how you look, and I want to look good, I want to look in the mirror, flirt with myself.
That's such an important. That's so
yeah,
true.
I
You have
feel
to
good.
look in the mirror and be like, I like.
Yeah,
this.
and be like, ooh,
like for
girl.
yourself, para ti misma.
Yes.
And this person, she woke up at what time did you wake up at today?
At 4:30.
4:30. Went on a hike. Like, this is work. Like, this is intentional. I talk a lot about in the blog about being intentional, making conscious decisions, and you are all about that.
I'm like,
O sea,
I tell myself, you are not a huevona. Get your ass up. Get your ass up. And I talk to myself like that, and I laugh at myself like, oh my God, babe, you're so funny. Because I have to. And I know that doing all those things to feel good about you and look good, allow for you to think good thoughts and do good things for others. So it's like from the inside out.
oh my God.
And I'm doing it. I'm trying to really help others, trying to, have a good heart, trying not to be so selfish, because I'm selfish. I want my time.
Okay, so talking about helping others, I want you to share the story about how Queer Mercado came about.
Queer Mercado, I was working on my brand, on my personal brand, on the tooling and purses, and I wanted to be more inclusive. I had reconnected with a lot of students during the pandemic. I guess they had time to reach out. And I connected with one of my really beautiful students, Pedro. I call him Pedro because it's sexy. And Pedro came to do a campaign for me with my purses. And while he was doing the campaign for me with the photographer, we were talking about the Goddess Mercado and how successful it was the first time that the women went, and they were all sexy. They were in bathing suits. It was all women. So they're all deschichadas, Now you cover, and they're all feeling so comfortable. I said it was so fun, and our families, our kids. And Pedro said, Miss, you need to do this something for the queer community. Because he said, I'm tired of going to the West Side. I use my tokens from the clinic, and it's expensive. And, I've also experienced racism out there. And I said, that's right, we need. And my experience as a school counselor, I had already had a lot of students that came out to me, as queer in the Latino community, and the experiences weren't pleasant. And some of them were, at the end, they were very beautiful. And I realized how tough it can be for youth, how traumatic it could be, and how hard it is to recover for some. And it really hurt me, because I love these kids. When I work with them, I love them, and I can't. And as a mother, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want them to have this pain. So I knew that by increasing visibility, in counseling, I learned that by increasing visibility, you increase tolerance. By increasing tolerance, you gain more acceptance. And eventually, like, oh, you're one of us. Who cares that you're wearing a crown? Like, you're crazy, but so what? So I realized that we needed to create a queer space that's for families as well, for the grannies, for the uncles, for the aunts, where they know that their families are. And as an entrepreneur, I knew that it was an opportunity for a lot of these the people from this community, because I also, as a school counselor, I got to go to a lot of presentations by the LGBTQ Center on trans women and how a lot of them are attacked
Yep.
and they're exposed to violence,
Yep.
and some of them have to resort to sex work because it's hard for them to keep jobs.
Yep.
So a lot of it's very important for them to be able to create their own jobs or brands or a network. So I thought it was important for that as well, based on my counseling experience.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I'm freaking down to do this in East LA. This is huge. This is gonna be historical. You know, I
first
think
ever. I mean,
I think big. So and
there aren't other, like, outside of like Pride and like I don't think of any festivals here in Southern California that help like Latinos who are that
they're growing. There are a lot more now, but this is the first permanent queer, visibly, obviously queer.
Yeah.
In East LA and in a really beautiful park in the heart of East LA, and I'm so happy it's there. I'm so proud of it.
Have you thought about this idea? I just thought about it right now. When you talk about families, the abuelitas and everything, but there's a lot of, obviously, I'm sure that there's generations before us, not just youth, that are maybe closeted or repressed. And so I wonder, like, even older folks that come to this and they see it, I wonder if, you know what I mean?
They tell me.
I wonder if they tell you?
They tell me.
What do you mean? Do you
people have come and they're looking for the founder, right?
Oh my God.
The elders.
Okay, the elders.
And they're like, you did this.
Oh, what?
And they're like, let me tell you, when I was little and it was Gary Lomas here. And I love those stories. And they tell me how hard it was for them and how they had to hide and they had to go to other places. But that there's a big queer population here in East LA. And then I had a family, queer older elders told me, Mia, why would you call it queer? That's so ugly. I said, well, you get used to it.
Well, we were talking about this, that, I think for them, because the term was a derogatory term, and we, this new generation, us and Gen Z and whatnot, we're like taking it back and we're owning it, and so that's why they're probably.
I told this queer, I said, well, you look it up in the dictionary, it just means you're different, and it's just a beautiful word.
It's beautiful.
Like queer.
I love it.
And he's like, when I first heard it, I got scared because it was a bad word. I said, well, it's actually a beautiful word.
Yeah. In Espanol, how would you translate queer?
Queer?
I never thought about that. I don't know that in Spanish there's a...
Oh, that's a
right?
good...
Right? Because in Spanish I feel like la homosexualidad.
It's so, like, in Spanish, it's so offensive.
Or lesbiana. I always thought
malflora.
Like, no,
oh my God.
I'm just like, lesbiana just sounds so,
I love that word, by the way. It's so bad, like malflora. Like a bad flower. Yes, I am.
I love that. You're like taking it and you're being like,
I am a bad flower, so what? I'm a rebel.
I think that's so wonderful because it's like, because it's so easy to feel like, well, when you're growing up, to be like, oh my God, like I don't want to be that, and you're just like. And
now that you know that you are, isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful. I've definitely have come to realize, like, I really thought, like, because I didn't even, like, I knew that I was gay, like, at 16, and I immediately was like, oh my God, my life is like, I don't know what my life is going to be like. I don't know if my family is going to support me. I don't know what kind of life I'm going to have. Can I get married? Can I have kids? Like, am I only going to be known for being gay? Like, I really was very traumatized and feeling that it was going to consume my life or something or limit it. And no, but the good thing is, no, but here's the good thing, is that it has broadened my life. It has opened my life. Yeah. I've become so much more compassionate and understanding and open, and it just instead of being limit, it's like it was a complete opposite, and I didn't see it then because you grow up thinking that well, you're told too. Yeah, you're told it's limited.
Fix the crown, girl. Fix the crown.
And the biggest thing, I think the hardest thing has actually been the spirituality part of it. I grew up very Catholic. I grew up like very close to God. Like I was like, him and I were like I was the one going to the retreats and being like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna, and then you're 16 and
I
you're
tell
like,
everybody, God was queer. He had long hair, dresses. He's all beautiful.
well,
you
somebody
know,
told me recently, they're like, Jesus is like the most like queer, like,
and that's blasphemous, but I say it with love.
I know. I think
people are like, wow.
I think part of it is just knowing that like Jesus was, everybody, at the time did not believe, what he was and all this stuff. And a lot of people were against him, and he had to navigate that. And so in the same vein, it's like, here we are as queer trans people, and people are telling us what we should be. And it's like, we know who we are, it's like, and owning it. And it's, I think you have to be, somebody once told me, they're like, I don't think God would have made you this way if he didn't think you were strong enough to be this.
God doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I know is that, working with the kids, is that they had a lot of fear. Mm-hmm. And what I witnessed even now is that fear stunts your growth. Mm. And when you become fearless, you're freaking
liberated.
You're unstoppable.
I love that.
That's why I want to continue to practice fearlessness.
Did you hear that? Fearlessness.
Yeah. So that I don't want to stop. I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to help others. I want to have an impact in my community and my son, and for very selfish reasons. And the reasons are, the more I help and the more I contribute, the more love I attract. And I'm in love with love.
Wow.
And I love to be loved. And I love...
That's nice.
Yeah, and I love to love back. So that's why I want to work on me and eliminate that fear and that shame and continue to feel really good about myself and about what I do. I know my heart. And I'm in love.
I love that you're in love. I love you're making me love.
I'm having a great time. I'm definitely working really hard, and it's kind of lonely sometimes.
Yeah, let's talk about the look. You're working really hard, but there's a cost, or there's always you said it's lonely sometimes.
It's sometimes lonely, but it's by choice, because sometimes I gotta send these emails. I'm working on this grant, and I'm doing it and psyching myself out. I'm loving this. I can't believe what I'm learning. Oh my God, I'm growing.
So you're really being the mindfulness.
Yes.
You really truly are because Nina, I'll be real. This is you work really hard. What you see right here is somebody you're a hard worker, and you're dedicated.
Yes.
And you're committed. Yes. And I feel when you make these forging your own path like this, it's 100%, right? No less.
150, girl.
150.
I'm gonna.
Let's talk.
What's that famous Vivian Westwood? I'm gonna die like Vivian Westwood, working and working in. I'll be like
working in.
When she had a young boyfriend.
Oh yeah. You're well. No, porque I'm barely we just started our business, and I've been doing this blog for a few years, but I haven't really committed 100%, and I've been trying to do that this year, and it's it is work. So I don't want to but I've met so many people you where it's no, they've been working for a long time. You've been, this is not you have,
it's not overnight.
It's not overnight. So what has helped you to stay the course? What do you think?
I think that working on myself, surrounding myself with people who think like me, people that tell me, obviously I'm going to hang out with people that tell me the things I want to hear. Grow the business, keep going.
Right.
And the people that tell me, no, this sucks, I get away from them. You don't have time, I want to be around people that tell me, yes, keep doing it, because I want to constantly be refueled. And now I'm bringing my family along. It's hard.
Yeah, how's that been?
It's hard. But I feel like it's my responsibility to also make sure that my family is inspired by what I'm doing and bring them along because I'm having a great time. You know, I want them to have a great time with me, and this is how I'm able to spend time with them. And that's why I'm recruiting friends. Join me, put a sticker on that shit. Come on. And, you know, I'm good sales.
You are good sales.
So it's happening, and I have my chosen family, my network of vendors and entrepreneurs and supporters, and you know, it's really beautiful.
Can we get these crowns, by the way? I was just gonna
These
ask
you can buy at
and look at the camera so they can see
these
your full...
crowns you can buy at the Goddess Mercado Boutique at 5384 Huntington Drive in El Sereno. These are made by Sacred Bathing. She is our permanent resident goddess, self-care goddess at the boutique, and along with her you'll find about 20 other brands of local Latina vendors that artesanas that have created their products or brands and that are growing their businesses.
I'm gonna have to take my wife. We're gonna have to do a field trip.
And then at the Mercado itself, there are a variety of vendors that are selling crowns now. But we're really promoting the goddess vibe, the goddess look. All women should be celebrated grandly, you know, because celebrations inspire us to go out and do more. Tackle on the next, take the next step. Good, right?
I'm having fun.
Me too. Hell yeah.
Right?
We're not even drinking or smoking.
No, and we're done. Well, we have food, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, I imagine like my mom, like, I'll give my mom this, and I feel like even right now when I put it on earlier because we had to test it, but when I put it on, I was like, oh my god.
I put it on my mom. My mom's like,
oh yeah, yeah, isn't it? What is this? What do you think it is? It's like,
you're wearing a crown.
what is it?
You have to hold your
What's
head
that?
up.
Yeah, you have to. You literally have
You don't
to.
poke anybody's eye or like,
You have to.
yeah.
For you, like, when in your 20s. No, let's talk about your 30s because I'm in my 30s, so that's the most relatable. In your 30s, did you feel like you were like lost, or did you feel like you were starting to really forge, like plant the seeds for where you are today? What were your 30s?
In my 30s,
yeah,
I felt like shit.
What?
Like time's running out.
No way.
So I gotta find somebody to get married, and
Oh, so you got married in
I
your 30s.
found this nice guy.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
my son's dad is
Okay.
extremely handsome and
Okay.
intelligent
Ooh, okay.
and dapper.
Ooh, okay.
And I was like, okay, I need a nice guy because I used to like bad guys, like bad boys.
Oh, really?
So I snatched him up, married him, had my baby, and then my son was born deaf, profoundly deaf, and it really affected our marriage. And I think that's something that our marriage didn't recover from because I was doing a lot of the work and I felt very resentful. And that's why I was drinking a lot, partying, like trying to escape. I didn't want to be home. When my son was getting older, because I would go out and Don would tell him, I would tell him, I'm going to work. Okay. And then one day I remember he was already old enough and I was all dressed up. You're going to a concert. He's like, you're going to work again?
You're like, yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, I can't be doing this, you know? And I thought, let me go back to what I know. And it was making the purses. So I went back. I set myself up and I thought, I'm going to sell these purses. And I started popping up. And I was selling the canastas, basket purses from Mexico. And then I slowly evolved into leather.
Oh, that's how you made the...
Yeah, because
they're beautiful bags.
I had a big dream. I was like, I'm going to go big. I'm going to design purses. So I went to meet with a manufacturer and I started designing my own line. And it's 7 years later.
Oh my God.
And the purses, I always say, you know, because
you designed those. You straight up.
The majority of them, all the heart, the fannies, you know, I do. I started with my manufacturer's line.
Okay.
And then I evolved into my own line. And I'm launching a shoe line. I have a leather jacket line.
What?
And that's not it, girl. I'm gonna
wait. And this was 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's Very encouraging.
These
Okay.
are my design. The
Oh, I was
placemats
gonna say I love this.
and the
This is
color.
your design.
This is mine.
So this was your idea. You're like,
I
want
want
to make.
placemats. It's not an original concept, but I said I want tool placemats. I have a marijuana line.
Oh
I
my
have a
God.
God rules, and like now I'm working with
What?
calfskin. So I'm trying to expand. I'm not gonna stop. You know, I'm gonna keep learning my market, my customer, pushing the brand and growing. You never know.
Oh my God.
Jeffrey Campbell, Steve Manton, get
Yeah,
out the
right?
way.
Get
Get
out
out
the
the way.
Oh my
Excuse
gosh.
me. So
How does that feel to know that like it's happening? O sea, it's happening.
it feels like I have a lot of shit I gotta do.
Okay, the feeling out. What's the thought after that?
It's exciting. It's exciting to know that I found a outlet, a healthy outlet. You know, that I'm creating, I'm designing, I'm building, I'm working, I'm creating economic opportunities for myself, for my family, for my friends. So I'm very proud of it as well, and I'm enjoying it.
That's the number one thing, right?
Yes.
Because then if you're not,
But it's hard.
But it's hard. We're not gonna no sugarcoating here.
It's
You
hard.
can't. It's like you can feel sad and happy.
Hey, my friends were all at the Janet concert, all like,
Oh, see?
and I was at the mercado,
Oh,
baking in the
man.
sun, running around.
Oh, wow.
You know, I'm like, damn. But
But
I love what I'm doing.
yeah,
It's my baby.
yeah.
So I can't stop. I won't stop.
Can't stop. Won't
And
stop.
I feel really good about it.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing earlier about like this idea of like escaping, because I think that is real. That is real. That is human. I think we all do it in our own way. We escape our. So I'm just gonna talk about this in a general way. But I think a lot of us are afraid to fail or afraid to deal because of insecurities or what have you, and so we escape. We eat, we drink, we whatever, shop.
Yeah,
We all have indulge. And I've come to realize like it's like that is very human of all of us. And then I think also being human is being able to be like, okay, let's face this. Right? Don't you think that there's like this, like there's a chapter in your life where you're like, all right, I don't know. And then you have to, I don't know, it's fulfilling for me to be like, okay, let's face this. Let's figure out why. And let's figure out what can I do to not be afraid or, not escape.
What I tell
Yeah. What
all
comes
the
to mind?
goddesses,
Tell me.
I say, you know
Come on, tell
what?
me I'm a goddess.
I say, you know what? Put yourself out there.
Mm.
Who gives a crap what anybody thinks? They're not paying your bills. They're not sleeping on your bed. And you're not stealing. You're not begging. You're building a brand. And you're trying to become fearless and eliminating that shame. Put yourself out there. Nobody can sell you better than you can sell you. That's what I tell the goddesses. And an important thing to remember is that everything that you do today, right now, what we're doing, is going to affect us 3 years from now, 5 years from now. You're going to look at the story, you're going to be like, damn, that kid, I got practice, I got my reps, I was good already, I'm getting better. So that's good that, you got to put in the work to evolve, to get better. And if you know that it's something that it's harmful, once you develop a lot of self-love, right? And you know that that's hurting you.
Yeah. Oh, that's hurting you.
So, because we can't.
You can have a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I ate my
yeah,
whole
it's
one.
okay,
I
yeah.
hiked it, so I'm okay.
I gotta hike.
But once we know that that's harmful, that that's hurting us, and we want to feel good to do more good, then you back off of the alcohol, of the food, of the sugar, of overindulging with hombres.
But you have, or mujeres.
Or mujeres.
That's very true,
you know.
because like last year for me, like I really it was a very important year for me to like back it up, be like why, and having a better relationship with food y todo eso. And so now I'm like, I am more self-aware. So now I'm like, oh my God, like I remember what it truly felt like to feel good about myself and treat myself better, instead of, for me it was like, oh, losing weight. It was like, no, it was about like I was really loving myself. I was really like, you know, like
Yeah.
like making myself move, but because I wanted to like strengthen myself.
Yeah.
You know.
You start doing weights. You start eating your frutita, your avenita, because you're like, I want to look good. I want to feel.
Good. I want to feel strong, especially like being an entrepreneur. It's like you have to feel strong physically, mentally, emotionally. It takes everything.
Yeah, and it's exciting.
But it's exciting. It is exciting. I will say that. I'm like, this is insane to be in this position like a year ago.
It's terrible.
It's scary.
It's hard work.
Well, it's scary.
It's exciting.
But it's exciting, and it's like...
And it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone, but I also feel like somebody did tell me, close to me, a few months ago, was like, well, maybe you'll find out you're not cut out for it. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, no. Like, it was like a natural reaction of like, no, like, this is...
It
made me realize how,
way.
It made me realize like, oh, I want this. I do want this.
It's like a challenge. Like,
see?
oh yeah, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, like
you're like, oh yeah, wait and see. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, and I don't know.
That's how I feel now. You know, I feel like some people think everyone's like, you're working too hard, you're doing too much, this and that.
Only you know that.
But I don't see anybody tell me, let me help you.
Oh, that's true. You're like, well.
I said I'm trying to figure it out, so I don't have to work so hard.
That's very true. That's real, man. That's real. That is real.
But I don't mean to offend anybody, because I am trying to figure it out, and I really don't like to ask for help. I want it to come out of people, I don't like for people to ask me for stuff. I want to come out of me.
Yeah.
So, but I realize at this point I do have to ask for more help. Yeah.
That's real.
I want to have more fun.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah, and I'm learning how to do that.
Yeah.
But it is hard. Like, hey, help me, I don't want anybody
like,
feeling sorry. Like,
yeah,
so I feel like I got this. Fuck yeah. So that's why I'm working on myself, and that's what I recommend to anyone. I tell all the goddesses, no huevonas.
No huevonas.
We are not huevonas.
But do you believe in rest?
Yeah, I do rest. Okay. I take now, after the markets, I used to come home, party it up, and get ready to go, have to be somewhere. Yeah. And now I'm like, Mom, I just got back from my church. I'm going to do my ritual. I'll call you in the morning. I'm tired.
I love that.
So I rest.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they understand. Like, okay.
Yeah, what does your mom think about all this?
She's very proud of me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yay. What's her name?
Trinidad. She's like, ¿te crees? ¿Qué creída eres? ¿Qué creída? I'm like, yeah.
So I think you're going to love this question. There's been a lot of conversation, at least, especially with Latinas, like this idea of like being humble or being modest and humble. And this idea of like, we've been told like, oh, we have to be humble, but it's like, part of it's like, why can't we own what we like, but why can't we be proud? Like we have to tone down what we've accomplished, but it's like, we can still like, be,
I don't like that.
What do you mean?
I don't like that because...
Tell me!
Because...
You're not the only one, that's what I'm saying. I think you're not alone in this.
I don't want to be like, oh, not me, because I think it discourages others from wanting to do good. It does feel beautiful to be celebrated for doing something that's good for others.
Yeah.
It does feel good to be celebrated when, you have a good heart and you want others to do just as good as you're doing, right? And better.
Yeah.
And if more of us would embrace it like that and celebrate, I think we would encourage more people to get involved to help others. And there's no shame in doing good things for others. Be proud of it. That's not why I'm doing it. That's not why I started. I want to have some fun and make some money.
Yeah.
And now that
that's okay.
Yeah. And now that I'm getting recognition, I appreciate it. And I also realize it's not opportunity for me to brand, like come to the market, So I'm not going to miss out on that opportunity. And slowly but surely, I'm attracting people that are aligned with my vision, and those that are not will step away and go other places. There's places for everybody.
Totally.
So I will continue to be myself and elevate our markets and bring more people to our space and support youth, women, queer, and those who need a space where they want to be part of a community that will help them heal and grow and be inspired and feel good. So I'm going to show off.
I love it. So when are these markets? Let's tell people.
The Goddess Mercado is the second Saturday of every month. The Queer Mercado is the third Saturday of every month. And it's at the East LA Civic Center. You can Google it, look it up. From 10 to 4, there's a farmer's market there. There's a food court. We're trying to activate a variety of activities for both the Goddess and the Queer. We have free Zumba. We have book readings. We have
Free
sound.
Zumba?
Yeah, for the Goddess, every Goddess from 9 to 10.
That's cool.
So we could do Zumba before we start our
cool.
day. And this fabulosa, extremosa, preciosa is doing the class. And for the Queer, we have Latin dance classes and folklorico music. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. You gotta come.
Gotta come. Well, any final words for the peeps out there?
Yes, I just want to remind all the women, new entrepreneurs to stay positive, to work hard. Remember, God blesses those who work hard. It's biblical. No huevonas. And we'll see you at the Goddess Mercado and the Queer Mercado second and third Saturday of the month at the East LA Civic Center. We appreciate the support. We look forward to seeing you once you attend your Goddess. We love you. Bye.
Bye. We're goddesses. We're like...
How
Thank
fun.
You, Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was fun.